Columbia University, you told me.
Yes, I recommend you to search for the Columbia University's website, right? Okay, but you told me that the other universities, I'm remembering that.
Yes.
What was the other name of the universities?
Harvard University, I told you. Is
Harvard?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know why? Do you know why?
This is the administration
Yeah,
department.
because the Harvard University constantly concentrates on the empirical side of knowledge rather than the epistemological side of the knowledge. You catch my point?
Yeah.
That's why they are creating a highly empirical knowledge, which could be beneficial for the society. Okay. Anyway, let me to continue. The central thesis of that book is that social science, like all of science, must be conceived of as both a system of knowledge as a social institutions. So many new words you are still learning. So if you are able to make the differences between each other, your start point of understanding is going to be open, right? For this reason, what the meanings of the fragmentation of knowledge, as I mentioned you before, and what the meanings of the systemic of knowledge or the systems of knowledge in the context of the social institutions, that you have to find it out. For this reason, there are some structures of knowledge in a society. What types of structures for, as a citizen to live in a society with keeping your rules and regulations? What types of regulations we are suffering from for living in a society? Punishment rules, reward rules, the rules as living a human being in a society, or so on. That's why we have to know our rules. Within the traffic, for example, if you're going to pass on from the red lights, you are going to be punished. Yeah, that's why there are some structure of knowledge in a society which allows us to identify ourselves and let us to commonly live in a society. For this reason, if we are able to understand the structure of society, which is also consists of some types of social institutions, because social institutions identify some of the structure of knowledge in a society. For example, what types of social institutions? Public organizations, or in order to defend your country, the army organizations. That's why so many social institutions are there in any kinds of society, which allows us to commonly live in there. You catch my point? Okay. And then, for those of the structure of knowledge, the change relationship of society to nature, that's why the society start conducting with the nature. Because without the nature, human being is gonna be nonsense. That's why every human being needs to conduct with the nature. Okay? Which has placed the idea of time at the center of debate, the reopening of culture around new issues. So, what our understanding on culture from this book is, a culture is a tool which allows us to play a mediation effect between the nature and the society. So culture is a mediation which allows us to to connect between nature and society. Culture identifies how are we going to behave in a nature as a socially man. Okay? Are you able to take down what I mean? Okay. Finally, I would like to finish this chapter. In order to achieve these tasks of forging the new links with the public sphere, because you are not free enough to behave in a public sphere apart from the private sphere, because we have some limitations in order to behave in a public sphere which identifies some types of structure of knowledge in a society by conducting with the nature. Imagine that nearest university is a kind of nature, and there are a specific structure of knowledge, we means rules, regulations, and so on, in order to let us to adapt in a nature as a social being or social human. For this reason, we will have to recover its role as a critical voice of modernity. So it means that if we are able to adopt all those regulations and rules and the structures of knowledge which are identified by any kinds of social institutions, it means that we are going to create a modern society. Okay? Okay, just tell me what was your confusions that you are looking at me not very positive way.